Good morning, students. We'll continue with our chapter 2, that is implementation in threads in user space with this topic. So, first one is implementation thread in user space. So, there will be two different types in this: implementing threads in user space and implementing threads in kernel. So when we talk about implementing threads in user space, as we can see in the diagram, the thread is not concerned with the kernel space when it is in the user space. That time in user implementation, kernel is unaware of the thread. Kernel does not have the concern with the thread. The thread is working in the user space, that is this one. So in this case, thread package entirely put in user. Java language supports threading package. Now here Java is the language which is supporting the threading package. User can implement the multi-threaded application in Java language. User can implement the multi-threaded application. Whatever the application requires threads, that will be put in the user space with the help of Java language. Kernel treat this application as a single threaded application. Now kernel is unaware, so it will put it as a single threaded application only, that some application is running on it. In a user level implementation, all work of thread management is done by the thread package. The thread package is doing the whole work, that is the runtime system, that is the whole process is done by the thread package. Thread management here now, if the thread package is working, what thread is doing? Thread is doing the creation and termination of thread, that is the task creation and termination is done by the thread. Message and data passing between threads, the process creation after this threads exchanging the data is also done by the threads, as well as scheduling thread for execution. Different thread task for execution is also done by the thread itself. Thread synchronization after context switch saving and restoring thread context. Synchronization means if anyone requires that task thread, giving it to it is done by thread synchronization. And context switching, that once the task is done, once the thread is terminated, do we want to restore that thread or not, is done by the thread management process. Now here when we talk about creation and destroying of threads, it requires less time and is chip operation. Chip operation means one single chip, chip operation, as well as it is the cost of allocating memory to set up a thread stack and deallocating the memory while destroying the thread. So it's a chip allocation process. So the cost of allocating memory for setup of the thread stack, the whole threading process, is and deallocating it after once the process is complete and deallocating it, the memory while the destroying the thread. So it will cost very less amount of time as well as money, because of the cost of allocation and deallocation is very easy in the memory stages. Now when we talk about users level threads package, see, when we see here in the user space, there is only process and threads, and the runtime system is done by the thread table. Whereas your thread table, after processing a thread package, is managed into the kernel, and that thread package and process table are working in the kernel space. Till that time the whole process is done in the user space only. This whole work is done by the thread management, that is thread implementation package, and once this is done, the thread table is working on the kernel for processing and implementation. Now next is hybrid implementation. Hybrid implementation is, we can say there are three models in hybrid implementation: one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. So here many to one is possible, one to many is not possible. See, there are three types of multi-threading models: one to one, many to one, and many to many. Considering the advantages of user level and kernel level threads, a hybrid threading model using both types, that is user level as well as kernel level, both can be implemented here in hybrid implementation, as well as the Solaris operating system. Solaris operating system supports hybrid model. Hybrid implementation is possible in Solaris operating system. In this implementation, all the thread management functions are carried out by user level thread package at user space. So operations on thread do not require kernel intervention. So here see, user level threads are managed by user space as user threads on a kernel thread. That is, interconnection is possible between both the threads. That this is called as multiplexing user level threads onto kernel level threads. Implementation can be done. Now see here, it is one-to-one model, that is relationship of user level thread and kernel level thread in one-to-one manner, as well as it can be in many to one manner also, many threads connected to one kernel thread, as well as many to many means many user level threads can be connected to many kernel level threads as well. So these are the models of hybrid implementation. Now next is pop-up threads. What is pop-up threads now? Pop-up threads is in distributed system. Distributed system means one single system used over a network can also be termed as a distributed system. Many clients simultaneously send requests to server process to get a service. Now every client, when sharing a single system, will be sending a request, yes please send me a service, I require this service, I require this user implementation request. So in traditional approach, as server side process or thread remain blocked at receive system call and waits for incoming request, after arrival request is then processed by waiting process or thread. Yes, obviously, if whichever system is demanding a service, that service is being busy with some another process, that time the particular thread goes on to a waiting process or a thread. So that time, creation of new thread when a message arrives, before the message arrives or after the message arrives. So before the message arrives, the existing thread is working over the process. Once incoming new service comes, the pop-up thread handles the incoming message, that it goes to a waiting process or thread process to wait until the first process is been or first thread task is been completed. Next is making single threaded code. How do we make single threaded codes? So depending on thread 1 access, ERR error no set, open, overwritten, if not ERR inspected. Time, it depends on the thread 1 and thread 2 itself. So this is thread 1's code, thread 2 code, then there is stack, then again globals. So threads have private global variables. Private global variable, each one will have their own different variables to put a value or put a service. So this is how code is arranged. Code, stack, and then global variables. Now next is a race condition. How do we apply race condition? See, and you see in the diagram there are two processes. One out is value is 4 and one is 7. So a race condition takes place when more than one process write data items so that final results depend on the order of execution of instruction in multiple process. Yes, obviously, if two people are accessing a same service at that time, the output will be different for two people. Yes, if two different people have two different outputs, which output will come first depends on the process of execution and the order of execution when they have entered the task. So that depends on race condition. It is not compulsory both will have the same output or both outputs will come at a time. The time can differ in seconds, in minutes, or in certain hours as well. At the time of starting the processing, what time they have entered, depending on that the execution and how tasks they complete depends on the output variation. That is, process A and process B are accessing same spooler directory, that is 7, but when I'm getting the output it is out 4 in 7. two different variations I'm getting because of what? A shared memory at same time. People are sharing a same service, a shared memory at the same time. So their outputs will vary, their time durations will vary, and their execution process will also vary. That is, difference will be there. Then critical regions. So what are critical regions? So it is necessary to find out the means of to disallow more than one process from reading and writing the shared data at the same time. Yes, obviously reading and writing, that is reading, accessing the data and making changes into data at the same time by two different processes for single task is not possible. So there should be some conditions set onto it. The portion of the program where the shared memory is accessed is referred as the critical section or critical region. Wherever this portion of program is applied of sharing the single memory, this is called as critical section or critical region. In order to avoid race conditions and faulty results, yes, obviously to avoid certain cases like race condition and faulty results, that is wrong results, one must be able to recognize the codes in the critical section. Yes, obviously one must be able to find out what is the critical section in each thread. The typical properties of code that comprises critical sections are as follows. To avoid it, what can be done? No two processes may be simultaneously inside the critical region. So wherever there is a critical problem region, you should not enter with two different processes at a time. No assumptions must be made about speeds or number of CPUs. No speed recoveries and the memory consumptions should be assumed while putting the task. We should be dependent enough to know whether the memory is properly shared or not. No process running outside its critical region may block other process. Yes, one process is going on and one is waiting. That waiting process should not go in the block stage. No process should have wait forever to enter its critical region. It should not be keep on waiting for a longer time. It should have some fixed duration so that it can enter the task or the process. Now critical regions, see here, process A and process B. How is it? A enters critical region, A completes its task, but in between B attempts to enter the critical region, but B is blocked. Why B is blocked? Because until A leaves the critical region, B cannot enter, but B once A is leaving the critical region, B enters the critical region. That is one single process at one time. Once B leaves the critical region, that time another process, that is mutual exclusion using critical region can be done. Mutual exclusion means one processing, one waiting, one leaving, one entering. This can be done only to make a problem solving of critical regions. Now mutual exclusion with busy waiting. Mutual exclusion if busy is the task is busy, what can be done? This formula can be applied, this algorithm can be applied. Then Peterson's solution is this one, that is Peterson's solution for achieving mutual exclusion. Mutual exclusion with busy waiting, the TSL instruction. So there are different codes which are being there. Sleep and wake up, then producer consumer problem, semaphores. Then there is mutex. Mutex means what? Mutex means there is a program which is waiting for some another program to get completed so that we can find out a solution to run that program. So mutex also has different functions. Thread calling, that is pthread mutex init, that is initialization, creation of it. Mutex destroy, destroying the existing mutex. Then pthread mutex lock, acquire a lock or block the condition. Mutex try lock, to acquire a lock or fail. Pthread mutex unlock, release a lock. To lock a single process, unlock it, we can use it. Then there are mutex pthread different conditions variable. This were only for relating to pthread calls. This is for pthread calls relating to condition variables. Condition variables means conditions which are being applied, that is initialization, destroy, wait, signal and broadcast. Broadcast means sharing it to everybody. Signaling is yes, I am free, please use or please leave. Block is wait until the other process completes its task. Destroy is remove the variable, and initialize is create a new variable condition variable for a pthread. Now monitors, how do you use a monitor with processing? So this is an example written in C programming. Condition C, then end procedure consumer end monitor. So whenever you are using a monitor, this keeps on coding backend of execution in Java. Now the next is barriers. What can we talk about barriers? When we talk about word barrier, what does one thing which comes in your mind? What is barrier? Is barrier a hurdle, or is it something which is stopping you to complete your work? So one thing which I assure is barrier means which is not allowing you to complete your task, that is called as a barrier. Now when we talk about barrier, you can see three different criterias of barrier here. So barrier here is use of barrier. What is the use of barrier is? Barrier is one thing which is stopping you to complete that particular task. Process approaching a barrier. So barrier means it will be one thing which will stop before the processing. That is the reason it's called as a barrier. Here there are four processing approaching a barrier, that yes, we want to process. All process but one blocked at the barrier. All processes are there but one is blocked, that is C. Why such thing? Because when the last process arrives at the barrier, all of them let through. Once all the processing is done here and it is available for four processes to turn up, the last stage with the time is all processes are inside the barrier or outside the stage for processing. This can be done. So barrier makes a condition such that people can easily access the processes when the processing data or processing storage is free. Next is avoiding locks. Avoiding locks is ready, copy, update. Avoiding locks, why do we avoid locks? So adding a node, extra node, that is extra task, so that extra processes can be completed. This can be termed as adding a lock or avoiding locks. So in the first condition, you have an original tree diagram. That is A has two nodes B and E, B has two nodes C and D. So this is particular. Initialize node X and connect E to X. Any readers in E, A and E are not affected. So why we are adding extra node? So that when we want to complete some extra task, we can initialize that node. But that is not affecting A as well as E here, because we are not just going to update it, we are just copying it, or we are just adding something into it. Now when X is completely initialized, once X node is initialized, task completion is being done, connect X to A. X is connected to A. Now readers currently in E will have read the old version, while readers in A will pick up the new version of the tree. E will access only A. It is not connected with X yet. It will go in the older version format, this format only. But A will have an updated version, that is X and E. This is called as read copy update in the lock condition, because lock condition will not affect the node below it, it will affect the whole tree at the starting node itself. So avoiding locks will have different conditions. So these are the different conditions. Removing nodes, if we here we did adding of nodes, in this condition we can remove the nodes also. If we remove the nodes, what is the condition? That can also be seen. Then introduction to scheduling process behavior. So here we'll stop. We'll continue this in the next lecture. Thank you.